Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Namaste. Sat Sri Akal. Ni hao. It is a great source of satisfaction the fact that in Shawal and rest of the tribal areas of Pakistan Armed Forces is having much more greater control than it was having before. And efforts are continued to reach the murder of Pakistani children hiding somewhere in tribal area of Pakistan or somewhere in Afghanistan. But at the same time, uh, he was again able to strike the children, women and children and other people in Lahore, capital of Punjab, which shares the border with India. At least 72 people have lost their precious lives there on Easter Day. When Christian world was celebrating Easter, a suicide bomber, he had attacked the Gulshan Iqbal Park, Lahore, and where more than 200 people were injured. At least 72 have lost their lives. Now, we have western border with Afghanistan, which is a source of trouble. Khan University attack, major culprit, was signaling attacks from Afghanistan. And Lahore, which is at our eastern border, shares borders with India. And now defense analysts are claiming that Indian Raw is sponsoring both the attacks coming through eastern border and western border. Both are sponsored by Indian Raw. And the evidence has been substantiated because in Balochistan, a raw agent, an officer of Indian Navy, has been arrested. And according to a retired general of Pakistan Army, he has revealed all that on a private TV channel, that everything done here, all subversive activities, including attacks on Khan University, were masterminded by him, and he was running a network here, and he came through Iran. He's having headquarters in Chabahar area of Iran. this is really very ironic. I mean, as an individual, you can change your neighbors. You can, if there is a trouble in certain area, you can go to another neighborhood. But as a state, you cannot change your neighbors. Your geographical location will remain the same forever. There were certain other worrying reports from secret agencies that millions of rupees every month are coming from Iran to sponsor terrorism here in Pakistan. Well, that is an unconfirmed report, but it is there on social media. Why Iran is sponsoring terrorism here? Or why the mastermind of murderous agenda of students here is having a headquarter in Iran? That is still a mystery, and our Foreign Office has to deal with this reality. So all those who are raising this before me, I mean, as a journalist, I'm not supposed to give sweeping statements, but as earlier I have said that President of America, if he had decided to hit Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he was having direct sources and he was able to calculate and analyze the whole thing, and finally he had decided to hit back. When was attacked by Japanese U-boats at Pearl Harbor during Second World War. Here, for those who are asking for my analysis, for analysis you need data from direct sources. And if data is based on truth, I mean, you cannot analyze propaganda material. I mean, that is not a reliable data. We all know that vested interest is here, both in India and Pakistan. Those who are benefiting a lot from the kickbacks on weapon deals, they always strive to have a warlike situation here because they're earning huge profits. Situation is really very complex. I go through the social media and through other sources, and I have deduced that people in India and Pakistan, they don't want any war. They're not getting anything out of it. I mean, 1 billion and 1800 million people of Pakistan and India, what do they get out from war? And those who think that people, they are naive and they don't have any stakes and they cannot assess their own interest, I don't agree with them. I believe in collective wisdom of the people. And obviously, with the growing awareness among the populace, there will be consequences for those who are doing all this. And it is my utmost effort to educate everybody so they can mold their behaviors. Under international law, war crimes are punishable crimes, and from Milosevic to another one who was recently punished for his crimes in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Everybody is liable for that and for war crimes. And obviously, uh, those who have started thinking on these lines, the new emerging leaders, and one of them I have heard him recently was saying that without creating fear, how we will be able to get the votes of the people? Wow! Now see, assess the ignorance of mind. Well, people in Great Britain or in America or in rest of Europe and Scandinavian countries, are they are afraid of their leadership? That's why they are giving votes to them. Can't you see that within the party, the candidates for top slots, they contest and they express their whole agenda again and again before public. They debate each and every issue which they are going to deal with. And when the people, they agree with them, at first stage their own party members, enrolled party members, and then when their final candidacy has been announced during general elections, if the public agrees with them, they get elected. Nobody can extract votes on gunpoint from large populations. Such practices are dictatorial and are destructive. Countries, they got disintegrated because of the cruel practices of their rulers. Gone are the days when the state was, when the people were for the state. We are also having constitution. India is also having constitution. And our fundamental rights are guaranteed in it. Now the state is for the people. And we are all signatories of UN Charter too, which guarantees fundamental rights to the people. So we have anomalies in our systems, both India and Pakistan, they are federations, but they are having sovereign parliaments. No federation can afford to have a sovereign parliament. So a system of checks and balances shall be there. Small states shall be kept satisfied by giving more powers to Senate, where the representation is equal for each state. And in lower house, in Lok Sabha and National Assembly of Pakistan, the representation is upon the basis of population. So we have to balance this whole thing by giving judicial powers of judicial review to Supreme Court regarding executive powers of our head of the governments and states, and legislative powers of the our legislatures. They shall be under the judicial review. Which guarantees that no executive order or no law can be cruel, passed by majority in parliament or by executive head of a state. But that is a very delicate system, and that is there in United States of America. We can evolve it here too, And the other main issue regarding party elections and all that is a very complex problem. Now, a retired general of Pakistan Army has also taken notice of this. If we see the Article 82 of the Constitution of Pakistan, that word at the beginning, the title is written in block words that political organizations. So we Pakistanis, we are having Islamic Republic of Pakistan. We are not a socialist Republic of Pakistan where the one party system will be there. And some people will make hereditary organizations to capture the power and to establish their one party rule here, which are very much visible here. A political party has started initiating those party elections and all that. Two political parties have started all this, and it is really very great that Pakistan People's Party and PTI they are making some efforts to have democracy within their party, and they shall expedite their efforts. It is really great to have a political party which is having democracy in it, which is having paid office bearers and professionals to run the affairs of this country. So by this way we can generate employment too, because parties, they must have their own funds. And Article 82 is also focusing sources of funds. In Pakistan, we have 1800 million people, and we have 3-4 major political parties here. And if they enroll people as their members, they can get huge amount of funds from the people here. I mean, they don't need any foreign funding, which is paving the way for terrorism here in Pakistan. And they're not allowed to get this funding. No external source has been allowed to fund Pakistan's political organizations. So I hope that political parties will realize all that, and their concern that army or bureaucracy is not taking them seriously, that is because of that Article 82. As I have defined the whole thing, that if you are really a political organization, you are not a foreign funded organization, then no army or no bureaucracy has any objection when you are in power. But once your attitude is some sort of a violation of the constitutional clauses of the Constitution, then really it is difficult to anyone cannot take the risk of giving you complete powers and everything. And though army is kind enough, and army leadership and their political leadership is also exercising great deal of influence and power, and they're but the problem is that they're creating more heat than light. I mean, one political party, when it comes into power, starts throwing out everyone from job whom were employed by the previous ruling party. And the funny aspect of the whole thing is that the good works started by the one political party are being stopped by the another political party, especially construction works. So all the funds they get wasted. This is really, I mean, uh, it's, it's foolish. The continuity shall be there. So, hope one day we will be able to have this system, real democracy and political organizations of Pakistan. And the talent will come up because of the inner competition within the political parties. Healthy competition shall be there. Because the PTI chairman has recently complained that during recent elections of PTI, some people are using money. Now here, you see, we I am a realistic person. I know that I am stuck here in by chance of birth, I'm stuck here in an authoritarian society. Centuries old kingships and then military dictatorships and civilian dictatorships, because once the political party is not having democracy in itself, how it can run the country in a democratic manner? Then our writers, then our movies, then our novelists, they, with a focus of personalities, by focusing single personalities, their heroship and as dictators and all that, people cannot think about anything else. You will all be astonished to know that I used to teach here. For 7 long years, I was teaching Pakistan's constitution and British constitution and international law. Even I had taught Islamic jurisprudence too here in a law college in Kohat for 7 long years. And in constitutional law class, very few, only female students used to sit there for a lecture. No male student was interested, only 1 or 2 among them used to sit for a lecture. Nobody was interested in constitution of any country. They all want free hand. And a rough game starts when people start thinking in these terms. So we have a long way to go. And this that moral and ethical aspect of British political system, mostly that British constitution is an unwritten phenomena that is mostly based upon political traditions and conventions, which they do it voluntarily. I mean, if Prime Minister of Great Britain, after 5 years, if he refuses to hold fresh elections, there is no constitution, or there is no written document or a clause which will take to the court anywhere in Great Britain to challenge his decision. But he do it because of the moral and ethical standards of British society. Obviously, the parents and the schools and the society in general is responsible for this brilliant state of affairs there. And they are so just and fair that British Islands, they are, I mean, their geographical, uh, geographical um, location is somewhat near to the sea, and that's why uh, the business which is running through the sea is a major source of income there. They're all involved in trade, and besides, they're witty enough. They do have industry. They have arms industry too, and since centuries, I mean, those small islands were ruling the world. They were having colonies everywhere, in every continent. And why it was so? Because they by themselves are very just and fair people. And wherever they go, people, they welcome them. So here in developing societies, moral and ethical base of politics, you will be astonished to know that the top leader of this country, I heard him once on media, that leg pulling is a beauty of democracy. Look at him. Here the debate in House of Commons and House of Lords of Great Britain. They don't do leg pulling. Both government and opposition, their salaries become those guys who are there in assemblies here in Pakistan, or there in British legislature. They become justified in getting their salaries when they do their job, and their job is to develop, to protect their country. They do not get those salaries for leg pulling. With leg pulling, we all fall down, because when the top man will start leg pulling, others will do the same to him. If you go through the debates in House of Commons and House of Lords, you will come to know that light has been generated. Each argument generates the light and not heat. If the government is at wrong, it is the duty of opposition to correct, to point out the anomalies and all that in an honest and fair manner. Because opposition is a government in waiting, because in next election they can win and they will be in power again. So the national interest is supreme, because national interest is a sum total of collective interest of the people. And people, they all have visions. Anyone who considers them as fool, by himself he shall reconsider his options, because they can do the same to him too. So this is not fair. I mean, at the expense of government exchequer, people start doing leg pulling here. Opposition is trying to I mean, if somebody is really at wrong, That is a duty of opposition to correct that wrong, try to correct that wrong, at least they shall point it out. Leg pulling from the side of opposition or from the government, both are both they get involved in immoral and unethical practices in politics when they do so. By sponsoring terrorist organizations, because when political organizations they become mafia, and then mafia, all the mafias having links with each other, and of course they rule the country through terror. Then it really looks funny to blame a neighboring country for doing all this and that. Sometimes in my close circles, when we sit along with friends, though I haven't received that much data so far, but in India, those especially Bombay incidents and now the Pathankot incidents, I had deduced that they're just blaming Pakistan by creating fear in their public and blaming Pakistan for those heinous crimes which were being done there by some people. They're just trying to befool their own public. And the Bihar elections, they recently, that ruling party had lost those elections in a Bihar province because of these practices. That mafia, they by themselves behave like mafia, then they sponsor mafia in India, and to create fear in the public, to control them, then to exploit religion. Now in 10 Indian states, nobody can eat beef. Yeah, this is too much. India is a secular state. We have a Christian population there, Muslim population there, Sikhs are there, other minorities are there. Then lousy ideas like making everybody Hindu in the subcontinent are being floated by the ruling party of India. So the whole subcontinent, I mean, because the most of we Pakistanis, at least we are not floating such ideas anywhere. That there shall be, we are a Islamic Republic of Pakistan, but we are working to bring our own house in order. Our parliament is filled with the people who are having secular stance. Islamic minded political parties are having 0.1 representation in our legislatures at provincial, both at provincial level, even in local governments or at national level. Our Hindu population was suffering recently, was suffering there in Rajasthan. They went there to they went there as pilgrims, and obviously the visa section of Indian consulate or embassy shall guide them properly before issuing a visa. When they have tried to reach a certain place, they were stopped and arrested. They were suffering too much there on a plea that they are trying to go to a place for which they don't have visa. They should have been facilitated. That visa guys, visa section people of Indian embassy, they can have some mobility through helis, through other sources. They can reach them, they can ask them, and they can take their stamps along with them to facilitate them there within India. Innocent people of Rajasthan, they don't have any education, they don't have uh, any knowledge of modern world. We shall be kind to our people. They should have been facilitated, but were jailed. Hindus are jailed in India because they were Pakistanis and they were embarrassed. Obviously, the guilty was Indian embassy. They should have guided them completely prior to issuing a visa to them. And now, if they are in trouble there, they shall go by themselves to correct the whole thing. Not everybody, even nobody comes from Pakistan to do anything wrong in India. These are the crazy people who are having, I think, big stakes in weapon deals, or sending raw agents to kill everybody here, to make those phony organizations like whom are spreading videos of TTP and other groups and trying to portray as big Islamists and all that, and they are funded by India. And now that a top official, top officer of Indian government is under arrest here in Pakistan, and he will be represented. His case will be, his doings will be exposed in UN too. This is really very cruel, and those who are doing it, they are committing war crimes, attacking innocent people in Pakistan, unarmed civilians, to destabilize Pakistan, to disintegrate Pakistan. This is their plan. This is such a lousy plan. I mean, nobody in the world will agree to them. How they can reach their goal by killing the people here? They are creating more reaction. If they're really involved in all this, they're creating more reaction against them in the hearts and in the minds of the people here. And people are more determined to stay integrated and to fight unitedly against this menace. Well, as we all know that our cricket team was there, and they have lost almost all the, except one, almost all the matches. they had won a match against Bangladesh. And prior to their arrival into India, the chief minister of a specific state where the first match was going to be held, he refused to entertain Pakistani team on a plea that he cannot keep them secure because the threat is there, they can be all killed. Now, those who are attacking Pakistani team for all this, they must know that when the mental tension is so high that your life is at stake, and you're supposed to, or you're pushed to play there in a place where your life is 100% at stake. Everybody knows the efficiency of the Indian security forces and all that. Thanks God, nothing bad has been happened there. and they're really now more equipped and better. Better equipped and more efficient than before, and I'm really thankful to them that our team came back alive. And so those who are naive and they don't know about these things, that under mental tension, you cannot do anything under fear. When fear curbs your abilities, and obviously uh, that was a major reason, the threat which was there from extremist forces in India. Obviously, that extremism has been sponsored by Indian government. Current government, elected government, is sponsoring extremism in India and sponsoring very foolish ideas like Akhand Bharat and turning everybody into Hindu and all. This is something that makes the whole subcontinent, the people of India, a laughing stock everywhere, because these are very unrealistic goals. To be honest and truthful, the reaction among Pakistani public is now growing. And we are a third nuclear power of the world. And to bully us like this is not good. At the same time, I think in the Pakistan security forces, while digging out the whole network, have proved that we can protect our people. We have to be more vigilant at our eastern border too, because from India they can sneak in, from Afghanistan they can sneak in. And at the same time, we must take the international community into confidence, because as I've explained that in previous videos, that we have psychopaths here, and we have crooks, those who are benefiting a lot from this warlike situation and paving the way for a bigger war again. So those, with the help of international community, with the pursuance of UN, some preventive diplomacy and all that, the situation shall be diffused here, and the protection shall be guaranteed to the people of Pakistan, because these are provocations. The attacks on unarmed civilians, children, women, there's something too much. And what will be the ultimate outcome of all this? Once everything has been ascertained that who is targeting Pakistani populace, what is going to be our reaction? The world can well assess that. So it is time for the people of India and Pakistan that they shall also reconsider their options during elections. They shall elect those parties which are having democracy within the parties and are fair and honest, and they do debate every issue during the campaigns and take the people into confidence. Then they shall go for and for their election and all. And then our existing legislators here in Pakistan and India, they shall also strive to correct the anomalies present within the system. I think for both India and Pakistan, presidential system will be all right with checks and balances. The major goal of the democracy is to save the people from tyranny and oppression in a present day world. Majority can be also tyrant. And the system which we are having in the United States of America, that is ideal. The check on majority is there in shape of judicial review. The check on executive head is there. So nobody can exercise dictatorial powers. Nobody can be an oppressor. We shall also think in these terms to save our people and to have some better status in the world community, because nobody takes people seriously who are doing wrong things to their own people. So, with a happy note that our cricket team, women cricket team had performed well in India. The girls are much more stronger nerves than boys or boys. And they succeeded to win against India even within India. Well, that is great. And people of India are lovely and kind, and they were not so, probably that threat was not there from extremists to the girls. So at least they have some, that is a good omen that at least they have some moral and ethical base that they're kind to the ladies, the young ladies. So that should be there. That spirit shall prevail in the whole subcontinent. That was there in the past too. Even I did some courses on politics of India and Pakistan. I can tell you something. Come to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He was never interested in politics. His forefathers were rewarded by a Mughal king. A big state was given to them, to his family, in Allahabad, near a canal. So that's why they are called Nehru. Canal is called Nehar in Urdu. So their state, their lands were near the canal. So that's why they are called Nehru. And he was never interested in politics. And Mahatma Gandhi, he literally trapped him into politics. He was more interested in writing. He never used to enter in rasoi, in kitchen, which is a very holy place in Hindu home. And he used to wine and dine with with his Muslim friends, and he used to be in a club most of the time, Muslim and Christian friends. And he was literally trapped into politics. Then when he was trapped by Gandhiji and he was involved, he was enjoying his life, but finally they trapped him into politics, and then he was a bit confused. He was more pro-China. Hindi, Chini, Bhai Bhai and all these slogans were creation of his era. And he was civilized enough when Kashmir issue, he by himself is Kashmiri Pandit, and he was very interested in Kashmir. But when the problem was there in Kashmir, he was polite and civilized enough. He went directly to the UN to settle that. But after him and during his lifespan, that plebiscite was never a priority. That plebiscite diagnosed by UN resolution to resolve Kashmir issue. And if we go through the data, despite of his leadership and subsequent leadership of his able daughter, Madam Indira Gandhi, India was unable to settle its dispute with China, border dispute with China. We did it. In '62, we were through with it. In 1962, we were through with it. And China was so happy with us that they had given us that Hunza as a gift. That land. Hunza is a area where the people, the myth is there that those who drink water in Hunza, the water of Hunza is good for giving a long age to a person. And they keep people young. That water keeps a person young for longer period of time. That was gifted to Pakistan by China. We are having border problem with Afghanistan. McMahon line has not been recognized by any Afghan government so far. And we are having this Kashmir issue with India. According to partition formula, Muslim majority areas should have been included in Pakistan. Kashmir is a Muslim majority area. India has forcefully occupied the whole region and is not giving it to Pakistan. And then when UN has asked for, the UN resolution came regarding plebiscite, let the people decide, let the people of Kashmir decide. India is not holding plebiscite. So the data, that historical events and all that, that gives us some evidence of more normal attitude here in this Pakistan than India, because of the larger size of India probably, and because of the harsh weathers and because of the living conditions and because of the discriminations prevailing inside India, because India is divided on caste lines. And people are, vast majority of people are considered as untouchable still. They don't have their civil and economic rights in real sense of the term. And their history of struggle is quite long, and now they have got some rights too. But obviously when an attitude has been determined by religion of treating a vast majority of the people by a small minority of the same religion, such things are here too. In Pakistan, say for example, we who are of upper caste, like I by myself, I'm Kutab Shahi Awan, and from this childhood they're telling me that you are Sayyid and you are not supposed to even touch or shake hand with the people of lower castes, but I do that. My mom was great enough, and I treat all my friends of every caste to every creed here. That discrimination is not here in Pakistan at that scale. Once I was that upper caste in India is called Brahman, in Pakistan is called Sayyid. So that Papa of one of my group fellow in university days was inviting me to India to visit, and I said, sir, it's really difficult for me to come there because, and I was straightforward enough since childhood. I am like this. I told him that all around cows are free to do anything which they feel like doing, even in Delhi. And when everywhere the cow dung is there, recently Kalandar got that dengue fever there. Kalandar is a son of a very eminent scholar and a journalist, Rita Patterson. Kalandar is her son and son of her husband Peterson. And she previously she was in Lahore, then she went to India. She was posted there as a director of her own Green Party. So Kalandar, the only son of Brita, he had got dengue fever. And she's committed enough. I mean, she's there. She likes India and all. But I never, in my youth, early youth, I never agreed to visit India because of these facts that everywhere the cow dung is there. The cows are moving freely. The sanitation standards are not good. Restrooms are not there. The vast majority of the people in India is without restrooms. Even judges of Supreme Court, they had got restrooms few years ago. They were not having restrooms. And restroom is a American term. Probably everybody is getting the idea. Those latrines, they are not there in it. Also, I never agreed to go there, though my ancestors, they had were having a large businesses and property there in Delhi too, and I always want to see that. But because of these reasons, one can I had done a lot of research and all that, and I came to know that the one who enters in Delhi or in any other place of India gets diarrhea immediately. And people can die even because everywhere that virus is there, the dung, cow dung is there. What will you do? So we need some sense of sanitation too, along with in India, along with the sense that liberty shall be there. Those who are having Muslim religion, Christians, Sikhs, and other minorities, other religions, people of other religions, they are also humans, and they shall be treated like humans. And if a cow is so sacred, that shall be kept somewhere in a really holy place. The cow shall not be left on the streets of Delhi. Children are suffering too much, and elders and everybody because of dengue and that other diarrhea, like causing viruses. Recently, a friend of mine from Middle East was thinking of shifting along with the family to India, and I told the family that okay, come over to Pakistan. It is easy to manage here. With diarrhea, nobody can manage life there in India, especially those who are in habit of living a very clean life. So the problems are immense, and that shall be the priority of our governments. The idea to keep a cow in a real sacred place is much greater than the idea that there shall be no restriction on cow. If it is so holy, that if it is equal to the mom, in Hindu religion, then nobody allows or leaves his or her mom on streets. And to spend that much on defense and buying for kickbacks, buying even damaged warships by befooling our own, their own population and keeping them hungry. The farmers are committing suicides there. And nobody even realizes this, that what is going on, and that shall not be like this. So there are problems which can be, which shall be a major focus of everyone. I don't. I always plead for environment-friendly industry. And now, President Obama recently had pointed out in one of his speeches that India is utilizing coal to generate electricity, and that's why is paving the way for intense levels of global warming, and the sea level is rising because of the Indians' utilization of coal in generation of electricity, and at such a huge scale. They shall think about it, and they shall replace the whole thing to save the world. That President Obama's idea to reduce that chances of increased global warming, increased sea levels, and increased heat in subcontinent is much more greater than the idea of Akhand Bharat and all. We shall concentrate on that. You will be able to keep on thinking in terms of Akhand Bharat once you are alive. If the sea level is rising and once everything is gone, I mean, who will keep on thinking on these terms then? So we have, I really want everybody to think in terms of staying within the borders. Whether it is Iran, their revolution might be an ideal for those people who are living in Iran. We don't want that. Even Netanyahu, he dislikes that. Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, and he pleads for it everywhere. And the threats emanating from Iran to the existence of Israel are his major concern. And Americans, they guarantee him that everything will be fine. Don't worry. But that problem is there. There are people who want to export their revolution to other countries. And are not, Israel shall also think in these terms that Zionism and all that is not for everybody. If Jews, they feel like doing anything within Israel, though it will be better to be a democratic polity, and humans are all humans, and religion is also a source of great satisfaction, and people for spiritual satisfaction. I by myself, I go to do prayers when there is enough security available there, and I do feel satisfied in doing all that. That is, spiritual life is also a part of human psyche, but that shall not be the go if Israel starts taking steps to destabilize the whole Middle East along with Iran and all, that won't be an and now many of them are indicating that Mossad, uh, Mossad and Ra are collectively responsible for instability here in Pakistan and that destructive activities here. The much better option is that we shall focus on creation of awareness, of greater good of the whole humanity, and shall meet the challenges like environmental pollution, which is really challenging even in China. In China, they don't have a two-party system. Nobody can protest there. Nobody can. I mean, that is a one-party rule there. They cannot. I'm repeating all that because to make the people and the government of China realize that pollution levels which I'm watching through media there in Beijing are killing in nature. They shall take some steps, even if they are a single party and there is no opposition and nobody can challenge them. And we are the friendly country of, but we are human beings too. I mean, we love our Chinese brothers and sisters. I by myself as a journalist, I do have the privilege to write about the whole world. So, in my capacity, and hopefully, the Chinese dictatorial setup allows me to do all that because I don't want to hurt anybody. Their system is good, and they shall strive to make it a bit more open. Same is the case with North Korea. And trust building measures among the nations of the world, having different ideologies, shall be initiated. And there shall be a common understanding that whatsoever the ideology is creation of the times where the knowledge was not so perfect, the conditions were really harsh, and obviously no egoistic stance, but the humanity, to save the humanity, it is at least my major objective. And President Obama, he had proved it time and time again. He's taking steps. He had held a World Conference on the environment of all the eminent leaders of the world. They had taken many steps to save the environment. And I hope that that spirit will continue. And I hope that I have addressed all the concerns raised before me, including cricket. And only one point which I want to highlight again, that all those my Facebook friends, because I had to attend one today, who came from Bhimber, Azad Kashmir, to pay me a visit here, and there was a sudden call for him, for me from him. So I met him and had hospitality, which is common here. I did what I can for him. But the good thing is that one shall inform me if somebody really has some concern here and wants to meet me, then shall inform me at least 10 days ago, so that I can stay prepared, can handle that in a much better way. So I'm hopeful that life is, my friends, even in Israel, they are great. A friend of mine recently on Facebook, there we are not allowed to interact freely. But as a writer, as a journalist, nobody can. In Pakistan, we are having freedom of expression, and So nobody can stop me from interacting with them in a positive way. So a friend came up with the idea that, and that is based on truth, that if you do good, then you can have good. The good things which you do will come back to you in shape of some good to you and to your family. So even the Jewish thinking is not that much bad, not that much expansionist, which is being portrayed here that Israel will take on. And Palestinians are also not that much bad as are being portrayed by others. They are also humans, and they shall also be treated in a human way, and they all shall learn to live together like humans, and that shall be the focus of the world leaders. If they're really interested in to leave their good name in history, because the future generations gradually, uh, especially with the advent of internet, all knowledge has been, is being imparted to everybody through free courses. Even you can do online courses without, you can pay later, and you can learn the things which were impossible in the past for the people of third world, developing world. So knowledge has been imparted in a very skillful way by American universities, and they are perfect in all respects. I mean, some flaws are always there, and humans can not achieve that perfection. In the longer run, maybe everything will be there perfectly all right there. But what my idea is that the rest of the world shall be treated by them as their human brothers and sisters, and there shall not be that arrogance and that thinking that we are superior, and the rest of the world shall remain subservient to us, and shall be, I mean, our under thumb. No, that thinking is not good, and um, everybody has a right to grow and flourish, to have happiness in his or her life, no matter whatever their religion is, whatever their ideology is. They're all humans, and by the grace of God, we have got people like President Obama, State Secretary John Kerry, and the rest of the leadership in Europe. They had made it possible. The peace is there almost everywhere in the world, and development is there. And people are treating people very humanly. I mean, people are sharing homes with IDPs, with refugees in the developed world. So the love is there everywhere, and that shall remain there. And hate shall hate shall be removed in all forms and manifestations in a decent way. I mean, I can't be cruel to anybody. I never advise anybody to be cruel to anyone. Those the minds filled with hate, they need psychological treatment, some counseling. UN can have some sort of setup of psychologists and psychiatrists from where they can off and on give psychological treatment and counseling to the dictators of third world and semi-dictators or apparently democratic rulers, but actually mafia heads. So their psyche somehow some control from the UN shall be there, so they can be pacified and they can be normalized, and that is an idea. Maybe I mean is practicable probably because all the world leaders, they gather together at UN off and on, and in those gatherings, I mean, they can have that layer. Even that psychologists can, if they allow them, they can get near to them. They can do counseling. They can do all other nice things which can make them normal. So I hope I'm through with all the concerns, and I wish all of you all the best, and hope that there will be uh, normalization of relations between India and Pakistan. And people of India and Pakistan, they will remain determined to be friendly with each other and will pressurize their governments, and especially that raw which is which is trying to be so killing and so murderous, uh, and they, to prevent them doing those cruel things to the people of Pakistan, its consequences can be very dire, and we shall all we shall always try to avoid that. Once again, I wish all of you all the best.